Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Lighthouse Sessions. I'm excited to have my new friend, Kate Assaraf, with me today. Kate, why don't you tell my audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into the world of dip.
Sure. Hi, my name is Kate Assaraf. I own Dip Sustainable Hair Care. It's plastic-free hair care for people that have kind of given up on sustainability and want to give it one last shot. It's built out of frustration. I was very, very frustrated with every sustainable product I tried not working that well, and I wanted to create something that would make people happy and inspire long-term change.
I love it. And I'll point out the obvious. I don't have hair, therefore I don't have hair care. Don't hate me, but I use body wash on my head, and my wife gets really annoyed with me, but I'm a wash and wear kind of guy. So let's talk about the sustainability piece because one of the things I'm a father of two boys. We do have a lot of plastic that comes through the house, and I keep looking at it going, if only there was a better way. And yet the Costco world, let's wrap everything in 5 layers of plastic. So how does that impact the planet, and what are you doing about it, Kate?
Sure. Well, just to that point, plastic is an amazing material. It revolutionized so many things. It's lightweight. Can protect the goods, right? Like it's amazing and it's incredible. But it ended up being too good to be true. Because what happened, I learned about it maybe 10 years ago. So I was pregnant with my first son and he's 10. I learned that not only was it not properly being recycled, so it not only was it accumulating, but also it was leaching endocrine disruptors and microplastics into human tissue and animal tissue and aquatic life. And so that was one of those things where, when you're pregnant, you're extra sensitive to those things too. And at the time, the general kind of knowledge was to just make sure you're drinking lots of bottled water and always having bottled water on you. It was before the big Stanley Cup craze. And I remember reading this information, looking at what was in my hand and just being horrified. And it's only now, 10 years later, that really like people are paying attention to like the human tissue element of it, of like plastic in the brain, plastic in the lungs, in placenta. Like it's kind of unbelievable that they've known for so long and they've just kind of let that information be under the radar. And in the beginning, when I used to talk about plastic, I almost felt like I was one of those tinfoil hat people. It's like, because every snack for kids comes in plastic, every pouch, everything is you start to get disenchanted with the world, and you start to realize like, okay, it's not enough to tell everyone else they should change. Like, I'll make the change. I'll try and get people excited about being plastic free, but I'm going to do it my own way. And my own way ended up being pretty contrarian.
I love it. And I think that's, the reality is people will choose convenience for, today rather than long-term survival of the planet. And it's like, okay, one of my favorite student projects I saw, I mentor with a group called Anhydrous, and the group of kids, they'd actually found a plastic eating bacteria.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I looked at it and I'm like, but there's also bamboo products. So let's talk about how you started your company, because one of the things I love, my visionary entrepreneurs, we see a problem in the world, we complain about it for a hot minute, and then we go, okay, what can I do to make it better? Enter Kate.
Yeah, well, the first thing I had to do was have a real conversation with myself, right? Because for I'd say 8 years, or I don't know, 7 years, I was projecting out that I was reducing my plastic, but when I was alone in the shower, I was hitting the bottle. Like I was absolutely using pricey salon hair care, and I had like a graveyard of shampoo and conditioner bars that just didn't work that well. Like I kept trying new ones. I gave it so many chances, and I realized that like there are more people like me than there are people willing to just kind of deal with bad hair. for the sake of the planet. Like, and I hated that about myself in particular, right?
That was
Because
your deep shame, right?
it was my deep shame. Yeah, character is what you do when no one's looking, and there I was in the shower, like just, you know.
I only laugh because that's the running joke in our household is my wife has, I don't know, 10 bottles on the go at any point in time. And I'm like, which one are you using? All of them. What?
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of, I mean, I have to say that there's a joy to buying different products and trying them and seeing how they work. There's a joy to that. But that joy kind of starts to wane when you realize a lot of what you're buying is water, you know, and a lot of it is in, well, of course it's in plastic. And then when you switch from individual into parent, then that transition in your life changes how you think about the world. You think about the world as for rent, right?
Yeah.
You don't actually own it anymore. And so yeah, I drove myself nuts actually. And what I realized when I came to marketing this thing is these bars, not only did I obsess over making them so good that you know, even a salon or stylist would carry them and never go back. I also obsessed with making them like kind of non-conventional beauty. So in shampoo and conditioner, they're made for all hair. They're made for different hair types and they segment people out. That is because people want to feel special about their hair and they want to, and the brands want to sell you more stuff to one household. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could find, you know, kind of develop a formula that would satisfy someone with very, you know, stringy, flat type 1 hair or type 4 kinky, coily hair, and then every hair type in between, and make it so that one family only needed to buy one set of bars. That was very, very against how people want to run businesses. They want to sell as much as possible and as many as possible to the same person. But you know, being sustainable is kind of a curse because you want people to buy less and you want to change how they shop. So that was plan A and step 1.
I love that. Now let's go back because I'm picturing you, no offense, but 8 months pregnant and pondering the fate of the planet. How did we get from there to you sitting here in front of me wearing a dip hat? How did you actually start? I think that's what I hear all the time is people like, I don't know what the first step is, therefore I do nothing.
Yeah. So besides being really mad at sustainability in general, so I'd been in the beauty industry for 20 years. So I had a head start for kind of knowing the nuts and bolts. And I'd been in product development, I'd been in marketing, I'd been in really brand development. So I knew the first place to go. The first place I went to was one of my favorite chemists who had developed some of the most famous hair care lines that you see in salons and on the shelves of Ulta and Sephora. So I went to him and he'd never made bars before. And I said, forget everything you see on the market right now. Take everything you know about really beautiful luxury hair care and like, let's barify it. And so that's what we did. And I was like, clean up the ingredient deck. Like, let's figure out how to make this something that I would want my kids to use, you know, that I would feel safe about the ingredients going down the drain, all of those things. And, you know, 40 iterations later, and probably he wanted to wring my neck, kind of like Bart Simpson style. Then we came up with dip and the final formula. And I mean, it was tough. I gave it to 400 different people I knew in my life with different hair types to see if they liked it. And it wasn't until we had that final formula where everyone was like, this is amazing. I would buy this. I would use this. I would buy it for everyone I know that I knew I had the right thing.
Awesome. Now you mentioned being contrarian, and I'm going to pull that out because when I think hair care, I don't think bar. And I think that's one of the biases, you know, again, it bugs me to no end that I go buy a bottle of something, bring it home, use it, and then it takes water to rinse it out so that I can recycle it.
Yeah.
So what was the drive to the bar? Was that purely about delivery and packaging, or is there a reason for the bar other than sustainability?
Well, the bar is making sure, like an anhydrous formula is making sure you're not shipping water around the planet or plastic. So both those things. And then, I even took it a step further because I used to buy very expensive conditioner, and my hair drinks conditioner. And anyone with curls, they'll tell you they go through a lot of conditioner. When you're buying like expensive small tubes of conditioner, you could be spending $70 a month on luxury conditioner. So I wanted the conditioner bar especially to be a middle finger to that industry. And so the dip conditioner bar is $32. For me personally, it replaces $590 worth of conditioner a year. And I'm ashamed that was my one guilty pleasure. Like some people like, to go out for steaks. Some people like expensive shoes. Mine was expensive hair care. And so my one bar saves me so much money. And it'll last over a year for me.
Wow. And I think that I can attest to those incredibly ridiculously expensive tiny bottles and that get knocked off the shelves. And it's like, good God, we need a storage system.
Well, my goal was that even if you don't care about sustainability, you probably care about saving money. So it was like, okay, not everyone is motivated by plastic free. I get it, because plastic looks really great in the shower. It's easier. It's, I understand. It's like, sometimes it's a status symbol to have plastic, these glossy, expensive brands in your shower. And I get it. However, what if that one bar is saving you over $500 in your expensive conditioner habit? I mean, you could probably buy something really nice for that opportunity cost money you just got. So
I love it. And by the way, when Kate's people reached out and asked if I'd have her on the show, I was like, okay, we can talk about sustainability. We can talk about the business model. I'm not going to know much about the hair care, but I can talk about the delivery of it. So would it be fair to say, again, I'm not asking for your secret formula, but the bar is just basically the condensed version of what somebody would get in a bottle with a bunch of water.
It's a concentrate.
Okay, this I can wrap my head around. By the way, I obsess about weird things, and taking care of the planet is top of that list. As you said, Kate, there's a First Nations quote, and I'll butcher it, but basically, we don't inherit the land from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And man, are we jerks to the next generation.
No, it's crazy. Like, I remember going to the beach as a kid, and what I don't remember is garbage on the beach. But I have noticed in my adult life, I have not been to a beach without garbage. There's a zero exception. Have you? Have you?
Nope. Sadly, even some really amazing beaches. We went to one in Hawaii. I think it was Diamond Head something or other. And first of all, the oil slick from the suntan lotion, I was like, ew.
Yeah.
And then the garbage floating along, and I'm like, wow, snorkeling is about garbage now, not fish.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even the most manicured beaches on the planet, they still have garbage on them. And that is the biggest tragedy ever. So it was one of those things. Yeah, plastic came around. It was such a hero forever. And then it just isn't what we thought it was.
Yeah. And it's there's a nonprofit, I think it's called 10 Oceans, where they harvest stuff from the ocean and repurpose it. But we've left a pile of stuff for the next generation. Now, my experience with bar soap, sorry, this goes back a long time. Back in the 80s, the water would hit the soap, and sorry if Zest is still a thing, don't sue me. After about a week, you get this lumpy, clumpy, soupy thing that you're like, ew.
Yeah. And that's, I feel the same way about it. You get the ick from the soap. And so that was a challenge too. So because I had been trying to use bars for so long before I started, I knew what those icks were, because it actually really bothered me. You can't really put out beautiful hair care without having a solution for the shower. And so my husband is an industrial designer. So he and I worked together for a long time to develop like just a shower rack that goes in the shower. And that actually we've not only patented here and utility patented here in the United States, but also in China. And so we take this storage system very seriously. We protect it with all of our might because we think it is the best way to store these bars, like away from the stream of water, and the shampoo and conditioner are at an angle so that, and they don't have any ridges underneath. So they just slide up and off of the rack, and you can use them for, you know, the throughout the full lifetime of the bar.
I love that. That was my other comment was, you know, when you're it's slipping and it's like trying to catch a fish, you're like, okay, for God's sakes.
What are you, in an infomercial? You can hold on to your soap. Come on, man.
I get distracted and then it slips and
no, it
always,
I guess it can be slippery, but I think it's you can totally hold these. They're made so that they're big for your hand, and they wear down so gradually that you adapt as they get smaller.
Yeah. And for the record, I'm always talking about that little sliver where you're okay, 1 or 2 more showers and then it's done, right?
Yeah. Well, the end of a bar is just as fun as the end of a martini. You know, you get a tiny sip left. And so part of our formula that's really cool is that it's formulated that you can take that small sliver and put it right on top of the new bar so they can marry together.
That was I learned how to do that as a kid because my mom would get mad if you threw out too much of a bar, and I was like, wait. But then you get that slippery, sloppy mess on top of a new bar, and it's like, oh, that's not as nice either. So
well, I certainly, if soap gets like really waterlogged, it's not really savable. But I just noticed your mug is a Hogwarts mug. It's cute.
We are Hogwarts people in this house.
Amazing.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, like we thought of all of that stuff just because I don't really think you can convince people to change if you don't create the system for that.
Well, it just amazes me. You've given this a lot of thought. Now, I know you're biased, but I'm going to ask this question. So how does the bar compare to all these fancy little bottles? Like, are they getting, because here's the thing. I know my wife cares deeply about the planet. She cares deeply about saving money. But if her hair looks like crap at the end of the day, she's mad at me because I told her to spend less and whatever. So tell me about dip. What does it do for hair that you didn't see or you wanted to replicate in your product?
Well, there's 2 things that are, well, I'd say 3 things that are really important. One is I used to use Oribe, which is like very, very expensive. I didn't want to put dip onto market unless I had Oribe in my shower and dip in my shower, and I gladly grabbed the dip. Like that was a big test for me because honestly, like I wanted the lather. I wanted the slip, like the lather in the shampoo. I wanted the slip of the conditioner. Like I wanted it to be easy to comb, and like I wanted to be able to air dry and look beautiful, like all those things. So with the shampoo, the problem that I solved for myself is I'm an endurance runner. So I'm always training for something. And the bar is so gentle on hair that you don't have to choose between your run and a good hair day. So you can use it every single day, and it's gentle enough and you can still have beautiful hair. And that's like important, not only for someone who's like, you know, training for something, but think about, you know, someone who's a nurse or someone who works with children in like a preschool where everyone's sick most of the year. Like you have to shower, and we're in a restaurant, say you're working in a restaurant and, you know, you want to come home and shower the restaurant off of your, and then, so that was the shampoo. I wanted it to solve a problem other than just being plastic free. And then the conditioner, not only does it leave your hair looking like, I think it's actually more beautiful than the really pricey stuff that's out there, without silicones, without parabens, without phthalates, without any of the gross stuff. But it also, if you swim or surf or do any of those things, the bar you can bring to the beach, you can dip it in water, just get it wet, run it right down your hair, and it'll instantly detangle. And you don't even have to.
So you're also saving money on detangler.
Yeah. You don't have to buy bottled detanglers. You can also use it as like a leave-in. You can use it. Some mom wrote to me that she got gum out of her daughter's hair with dip. At a synchronized swimming team, say that the conditioner bar got all the goop that they put in their hair like out. I mean, there's been, I get a lot of messages from dads who are now stuck. Now they're the one that detangles after showers for their daughters.
Yeah.
And so what's cool about the dip bar is you can take it out of the shower and use it afterwards and just detangle if you have daughters with
Wow.
long hair. And it doesn't need to go, someone doesn't need to go back into the shower to rinse it out.
I love it because, for the record, I have two boys, and I was outvoted. They will not shave their heads like Dad does. So I am low maintenance. Now, I don't understand all of this, but my wife uses, she does something with dry shampoo and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't understand fully because honestly, there's too much to pay attention to on that side, but something to do with scalp care and then hair care and pH balance. Does this dip replace that or augment it or
Well,
both?
it's very good for your scalp. So the products are great for scalp health. But it doesn't replace dry shampoo. So dry shampoo kind of masks it can be used as a styling product to volumize, but it can also mask oil and dirt. I actually have a product that's an enzyme spray that you can, so say it basically is a shower in a bottle. So if you don't feel like showering, you can just spray it on very, very greasy hair and it will actually clean, unlike dry shampoo that masks. But like it's more for, you can use it on weaves and locks and wigs and extensions, but you can also use it in these other ways that are less sexy, which is like if you've broken like your femur and you can't get into the shower, it'll clean your hair for you. Or a lot of people buy it for parents that are in nursing homes, because they, obviously the showering is very difficult for older people. So like that's a product that is actually in plastic, but it's dead stock plastic. So I've taken a bunch of ugly bottles from other brands that have closed down and just repurposed them with this awesome enzyme spray.
I love it. Okay. Now I could talk about this hair thing all day because your hair is very long and it is quite beautiful, if I may say so. I think that's the biggest thing. I wish we would all make decisions based on what's good for the planet, but nobody's willing to save the planet if they have to have a bad hair day.
It's true.
Sad. Sorry, not nobody,
but that is the problem I wanted to solve. The problem I really wanted to solve is that feeling, that emotion people have of trying to do better for the planet, only to feel like you've been duped by like guilt-ridden, finger waggly marketing.
Yeah, I love that. We'll prevent those shame moments in the shower. So well done. All right, now let's talk about your business model, because that's where I think our audience is going to get really excited. You literally raised the middle finger to everything status quo.
Yeah.
You're doing something really different, and this I honestly love. Why don't you explain a little bit about your business model and why that is important to you? Because I feel like that's pretty much almost equally beautiful hair care and a disruptive business model.
Yeah. So because I worked in beauty for a very long time, I have a distaste for beauty marketing in a lot of different ways. I don't love the influencer, boom. I don't love fake UGC, which is like hiring people to pretend is your product, like pretend super fans, or I call them surrogate customers. They're not real customers. I am so kind of, I just can tell as a consumer when a brand is using like a fake customer to try and sell me something. And I, out of respect for just women and customers in general, I don't engage in that kind of marketing, because I don't think it's cool that you have to pay for product, but these people don't, and I just don't think the review of someone that doesn't have to make that emotional choice to part with their money matters. And I don't think it matters to any woman. Like, so I almost feel like we're all kind of just like, oh, this is what everyone does, so let's just do it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I have no interest in that. Every woman I know is pretty smart and witty and, discerning and skeptical, right? So like, why would I market to them in a way that I don't respect? So I threw influencers and fake UGC out the window. And also I decided that I was going to turn that into my biggest asset. So if you see dip being talked about online, I can say that person bought the product. And like, that's very, very, very special. It shouldn't be special, but it is a very special quality of the brand. Um, Especially right now when brands are kind of given the same playbook over and over again, and there's no point of differentiation anymore in marketing, especially with AI scraping everyone's marketing plans. It's like the dip business plan is like unscrapable. Like you can't just take what people say about dip and repurpose it for your own brand because it is very special. And then the other thing is we did not chase Amazon and we did not chase big box vendors. And there's several reasons for that. But one of the biggest one is that I know that sustainable people are opening things called refill stores around the country. And I see this type of person that opens a refill store. Not only are they the actual influencers in a community that talk about sustainability, that curate really amazing, vetted, sustainable products for you, but also they are really your last source of truth for finding good products, because there's so much digital review pollution out there, and so many brands gaming Reddit, they're gaming ChatGPT, they're gaming all of that stuff. They know how to hack into it and make it so your eyes see their product. Like real life is all we have left. That's like all we have left to tell the truth. And keeping my products off of Amazon encourages people to find the products locally and contribute to their local economy and experience what other options that their sustainable community has vetted for them.
I love that. And I'm not going to pontificate too much, but the number of Amazon cars, trucks, vans I see driving around my neighborhood, I can't help but think about the carbon footprint. And it's like, oh, do I really need to order that?
Yeah. And as a small brand, we have, and this is a stat from like a few months ago, we have redirected over $5 million back into local small stores. And that to me is what is so exciting about running my business and what gets me like springing out of bed in the morning, because I make a lot more money when someone buys directly from me, right? But it's the fact that people see our stuff on our website, go to the store locator, and then find their local sustainable store. Like I'm hoping there's a little bit of that, like, I went in for dip, but also ended up with a replacement for paper towels for the rest of my life, or for plastic, like Ziploc bags for the rest of my life. Like that's what I hope. So it's kind of bigger than shampoo and conditioner. I just want people to shop locally, to find the cool, sustainable stuff by accident,
I love that. And by the way, I'm a huge, huge fan of the support local movement. And, I have a funny feeling that Harvard is never going to do a business review and say, this is the business model because she chose the planet over profit. Shareholders are thrilled. No. But
yeah,
I love that you see it as part of that bigger system. Now I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. How do people find where are these refill stores? Because I can say until this conversation, I've never even heard of this concept.
So first of all, if any of the listeners have never heard of it either, a refill store is somewhere where you could take that big jug of laundry detergent, bring it to the store, and just refill it with laundry detergent. My refill store has spices. Even it has, of course, like hand soap and but they also have like balsamic vinegar. They have olive oil, they have mango cheeks, like they have all sorts of stuff, pasta. Like I can refill whatever I want in my local store. And it's so amazing. It's so amazing. And it's so rock and roll. It's like such like punk rock economics to do that, to open a refill store in the days of Amazon. But I like love these business owners. Like I know a lot of them, like we're in around dances between like 400 of them, 400, 450, depending on whether some open or close, around the country. And these people that start these businesses are incredible. Like they're so cool.
I need one of those people on my podcast because again, it's the little things that matter. And I just, for anybody watching, I just did a quick Google for refill store in my community, and it turns out there's a top 5 list. So I have a feeling I'm about to go on an adventure today. So thank you.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like, honestly, you start to just make 1 or 2 changes, and then you just start to realize, oh my God, like, I can even game this system because bay leaves don't weigh anything.
I love it. And, it's funny because we do have something called bulk barn, so you can go and buy all your spices and a lot of food stuff. And I think they have some products, but again, most of the quote unquote beauty products, my wife looks at them and goes, "It seems like something you'd get at a vet store for pets."
I do the same thing. I agree with her. Like, and that's why dip is so. I sell it in refill stores to get people into those stores and exploring things. But dip is also sold in really high end salons. So it's something that kind of bridges those 2 feelings, because I don't want to buy necessarily, like, I don't necessarily trust eco-friendly stuff is going to work anymore, mostly because I've been burned by it before. Like, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want straw hair. I don't want to look eco-friendly. I just want to be eco-friendly.
I want to be granola friendly, not look it. Yeah, that's. I went to university in the 90s, and yeah, there was a lot of the granola people, and it was like, you still should shower. Sorry.
It's not always an aspirational look. It's,
yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. You can take really beautiful science and technology and remove the plastic. And that's what I aim to do. It's not, I would say that I don't know, if someone wanted to give dip a try, like, we have a full money back guarantee, and our return, people asking for refunds on dip is like 0.006%. It's like so rare.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say my wife returns a lot of stuff. Now, I'm going to ask the hardest question, because this is the one where it's going to hurt my feelings if it's answered incorrectly. Is dip available globally or just in the US? Most importantly, in Canada?
So we're available. So Canada and the US, it's gotten a little dicey. I'd say the last year with retail partnerships, and because it's so expensive for goods to come across the border back and forth. And it is such a disservice to all the incredible Canadian brands to be in our stores here, and also the American brands up there. The one store that is in Canada, if you wanted to avoid duties, is called Milieu Market. And I believe they're in Manitoba. So you'd have to order from there. And she's super amazing. Her name is Julia. She's newlywed, and she's like a nice, awesome Canadian person to shop from. So if you are interested in having it shipped to you, I try and send everyone to her, because she's just such like a lovely person.
I love it. And for the record, if I'm buying something for my wife, I don't care about the price, but I do care about the carbon print of it sitting at the border in a warehouse for a while. And
yeah, absolutely, as you should. I think everyone should. But I mean, it's so difficult what's happened. I don't know I don't want to call it the duty games. It's very, very frustrating for especially the Canadian brands, and there's so many. Like, there's Elate Cosmetics. They're one of my favorite sustainable brands, and they're Canadian. I think they've had to open a US warehouse or something like that. So I mean, there's a lot of things you have to do, but we do ship to Canada. It's just very expensive, and Julia is a great person to buy from.
Love it. And from what I hear, I'm going to save money anyways, so it balances out.
That's true.
Yeah, it's funny. A year ago, things were easy, and now with the border games, things get a little more complicated. But
yeah,
so I will put a link to the Winnipeg to the Manitoba groups, just so that people can find it. So yay. All right, now last question, and this is probably the most fun. Where can people go to learn more about you and your story? Because I think honestly, you're as much a part of the dip brand the origin is fabulous. Where can people go to follow you, learn more about how you created these things and hair care in general? Because,
Sure.
by the way, there's a lot of garbage out there about hair care.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on Kate Assaraf on LinkedIn. And just let me know you're coming from hearing the podcast, so I don't think you're trying to sell me email marketing or anything. And if you're looking for dip or want to know more about it, dipalready.com. And then look at the store locator if you're curious. And if you don't want to hear that I think it's great, you might want to hear a local store owner say, yeah, I tried every version of this. Of shampoo and conditioner bars, and we have dip on our shelves because it's the best. You can certainly do that, and we're at Dip Already on Instagram and TikTok.
I love it. Well, I have one follow-up. Is there a dip for men, or is it predominantly women?
Oh my gosh, 30% of our customers are men.
Yay! Because again, hair care not so much, but scalp care. Everybody's got a scalp, right?
We have body wash, we have face wash, we have a few other things. We have hair and body dry oil. So in those winter months and in the summer months, that's like one of the products I talk about the most. And so yeah, we have a lot of men customers. And we have scents so we have a tobacco and driftwood scent, and also a wild sage and vetiver scent that generally men buy those.
I feel like you're a lab nerd and you like to just sit there and play with the formulas. Is that fair?
I do. I like all of it. I like every facet of the business except bookkeeping. So that was the first thing I hired.
Love it. And by the way, that's a great lesson: is hire the people to do the stuff you hate so you can do the stuff you love.
Bookkeeper.
Now, parting thought, you've got two young boys. What advice would you give for them, or do you wish you'd had at an early age that you hope other young women entrepreneurs and boys, let's make it equal. What advice do you wish people were sharing more of?
Yeah, I think doing is better than dreaming. And I think you have to start doing. It's great to have ideas, but it's all the stuff you do between the idea phase and the launch that are so important. And that's where the real work is. And I hear so many people talking about oh, I had that idea, or I really want to do this. And it's like, okay, go do it. So the doing is just, and it's also the doing's far more interesting than the dream.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Kate. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.